Hello, fellow foreigners. We are Hello Uncle Foreigner now. We've changed our name back to the original Hello Uncle Foreigner. From not here, from Hello Foreigner to the original,
the best.
One true name. And hit the subscribe, hit the bells, hit the whistles, hit the shares, hit the everything else. Hit the likes, for crying out loud. People are pathetic. Like, I mean, if you look at the people who are out there now that don't have the crew of like 20, 100 people on their set, your Trevor Noahs and Conan O'Briens and Jimmy Kimmels and stuff like that, it's just a guy sitting on a couch. Look what we give you.
And we don't even sit on a couch.
Not even on a... We have, on a daily basis, music videos, commentary that's at least above par of everybody else. We're probably the hardest working...
At least above average.
We're probably the hardest working YouTubers on all of YouTube. I mean, at least China. I mean,
Simply the best.
Simply the best. The only people... You know the only thing that's actually more resilient than us?
What's that?
Racism.
It's a shame.
No matter what, we can't squash that bug. We can't kick that cockroach.
Yeah. Well, there's a theme in sci-fi that is like an existential threat to the world, brings the world's peoples together, and they overcome all their differences to address the threat. And then there's other science fiction, particularly the Three Body Problem series of novels. If you haven't read those, they're super amazing and great. But the existential threat causes humanity to factionalize even further, and given our behavior, that might be the way we'd go.
Damn it!
Yeah, it's disappointing, and it is like it sucks when it's white people. I mean, white people suck. White people have systemically the most power, so that their racism means the most. And it sucks. It sucks that you take that power. It sucks that you have a face like mine and you use it to say hateful things about other people who don't look like you. But now the West has kind of exported. The West got to be racist first about coronavirus, and now the coronavirus is in the West and the racism has come back to China, which is a little dispiriting.
Yeah, the cockroach.
There is now... I would say online, you might disagree with me, because I don't feel like it's happened to me personally, but there is growing sentiment, anti-foreigner sentiment here in China, which is, not a good look. Not a good look on anybody.
Well, we haven't actually seen it, but also we don't really leave the house.
We don't go out, we don't talk to people. And that's where, like, my friends are still my friends. I haven't had anybody, like, cough in my face and be like, we can't be friends anymore. Like the fox and the hare, isn't that what happens?
The fox and the hare?
Like,
is that a kid's story?
Yeah, and a Disney cartoon. Like a fox and a rabbit are friends when they're
Briar
babies.
Patch?
And then they learn
you completely lost me with whatever this is.
They learn to hate each other as adults, but then so the fox is chasing the hare and he's like, I'm your childhood friend.
Huh.
Racism is rarely so clear cut like that. I think that's what's part of what's insidious about it.
It's never about rabbits.
Yeah, it's not enough about rabbits. No, it's like, and people who experience racism on a daily basis can probably speak to it way better than I can. But I know from my experiences with sexism, it's not that like people are coming out and saying slurs in your face, although that does happen. It's more the gentle undermining that goes on, and I mean, we're not systemically disadvantaged here. Let's keep that in mind in the discussion. But I don't feel like I've been treated any differently. I mean, except for we're on a list now, you and I. Mm-hmm. Our community is keeping track of what foreigners are here.
I mean, what we're seeing is like I'm seeing like things like in Beijing, big cities where people are like scared to be in subways, and I've heard stories of here in town from people that we know that have had families that have left their presence, have been afraid and
walked
away. And I mean, that actually happened. I'm not saying that that's not true, But we also, people are scared of us all the time. For years and years.
Well, like yesterday, that girl in the elevator was a little bit scared of us, but
until a giant cat came in. Then
the cat was like not having it, and then so we were the better option. So she chose our side of the elevator versus
so
a monster cat. Yeah, we're better than monster cats.
Yeah, monster cats.
And her mom. This was where, like, because I'd kind of been primed for this experience of, like, is her mom going to, like, pull her away? But her mom was like, no, these are our foreign neighbors. Say hello. Can you say hello?
Once again, I swear we live in a different country than everyone else online, because we just never see any of these things happen. And, I mean, we've said this before. I don't know how so many people have so many problems in life that everyone feels like they're attacked by things all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, are we just that good of people? Like,
yeah.
I mean, you go to where you're supposed to be.
Because
you are a nice person to people, and people treat you nicely is most of my experience in life.
Yeah.
And in a situation like this, like, I mean, we're in a small town, we're in a huge neighborhood, but still, like, everyone is always nice to us. We've never seen anything like any of the stories that I see out there in the internet. Like, and I'm not saying that they don't happen, but I mean,
and giving our information to the local community board. I'm not sure what that organization is, but like I checked with my coworker and I'm like, should I give her this information? And she's like, yeah, she just wants to make sure you haven't left between the time when coronavirus spread to America, because there are people who went back to America when coronavirus was here and came back to China when coronavirus was there, which...
This is the thing with racism, like what I mean, I'm...
Prejudice. I'm uncomfortable using the word racism because we are not systemically
well, I'm racist
disadvantaged.
Against everything, how tacky and cruel and artless and untalented the rest of the world is.
You are prejudiced against the rest of the world.
So, like, when people are talking about that, if they're upset that somebody has left their presence because they have a different colored face, like, I'm also not happy with the people that left China and want to come back here now or are trying to come back here now. Like, racism is fear and ignorance, and we're all racist and we're all afraid and we're all ignorant. And like, I mean, if I was any stupider, I'd be more terrified if I wasn't for the fact that I have this white face. So I'm like, when you're talking about this racism that like keeps, like, we just can't seem to get rid of it. Just, you push it into one area and then it goes to another, and we push it back over to America and then it pushes it back here. It, like,
well, and
so
but
little
that's
and
my
so
distinction
small
is like
that it just makes you so angry.
It hurts your feelings maybe if someone steps away from you because you are foreign looking in China, but that's prejudice. Not that we're not systemically disadvantaged. I still could get any job that I wanted to.
Right.
And it still would, like, I would get paid more than the Chinese person doing that job because that's the market here.
And it's this definition that, like, people
do I have to quit my job?
People confuse of what do I call this? We call it racism because it's easy and it's fun on the online to just throw that word around.
Racism is fun. You heard it from Peter first.
But it's a key word. So like, it's like throwing bullshit around, like, you know, baby Hitler or something.
It's not cool. It's still not cool. But I would like to emphasize, like, what's happening to us isn't the same as like being denied opportunities and having to grow up in certain situations because of the identity we present to the world.
Right.
We're just people are maybe being mean to us.
Or not us, but I mean,
not even us specifically.
Right. So I mean, that's my point, is that, like, I don't actually feel whatever this is because no one has come. I mean, there's people the police are putting like door locks on people's doors in Beijing, at least I've heard.
Foreigners.
On foreigners, yeah. Like little, like, from the, I don't know, the phone company or something, is like these little electronic things, like we don't have that. And
but they did that to Chinese people also when they who are suspected of having the virus.
So
I mean, it's not at all right.
No,
but I don't
no.
know if it's discriminatory.
Well, that's the thing, is to actually like be. I understand with those of us those foreigners that stayed here in China that are like, hey, we were here for you when we were saying, hey, no racism for the Chinese back home, and now it's back on us. But like also, I mean, it's not just you. Everything is always about us.
Yeah,
I think is part of the problem. Like everything is, woe is us.
Well, like your friend who works for that statistics company put out some findings about, people's attitude in America towards coronavirus, COVID-19, that everybody thinks social distancing is a good idea for other people. Which, I mean, that's always the attitude. Like,
yep.
I joked about it a million years ago in a meeting when at the newspaper when a study came out that like 9 out of 10 people are annoyed by how much other people use cell phones in public, but they still do that. They still use their cell phone in public. Like everybody is always more upset about other people's behavior than their own.
Yeah.
I'm upset about both. I have crushing annoyance at the rest of the world and crushing guilt and anxiety about my own behavior. It's great.
Yeah. Yay for us.
That's the way to be.
So that's why we don't leave the house.
That's why we don't leave the house, even though we're now allowed to.
Sluggishness, lack of energy, the belief that nothing is real, and all of the choices that you've made in life have no meaning. You're suffering from an EC, or existential crisis. There is no hope for an EC. The growing void will claim us all. But you can lie on the floor for a few days and see what that's like. When you're bored of all that despair, have some cake, or don't have some cake. Nothing matters.
EC is not a real recognized abbreviation for existential crisis, because nothing is real, and therefore the act of recognition is a trick of the mind imposed by the desire to perceive all interaction through the lens of time and space. All we can truly know is the current moment, and that's already over. Talk to your doctor if you think that will help.
So, racism solved.
Yeah, I guess.
Don't be it.
Just stop it. Whatever. That's something like that. I do think there's confusion that like people who are of a discriminated against class can also exhibit discriminatory behavior. Mm-hmm. So stop it. Everybody stop it. Stay home. Stop talking to each other.
Or just talk nicely. I mean, I don't understand why we have to keep going around in these damn circles that like, again, it's fear and ignorance that we don't.
Well, it's fear and then part of the fear is stoked by the fact that there's not clear leadership.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah, when
and part of that leadership is stoking up racist fears.
I mean, when the man himself is stupid and scared.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just defines who he is. And the arrogance that people put on top of that when you, especially when you're white and a man and
mm-hmm.
of a certain age, that this is all here just for me. So
mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to feel scared and angry at things that are telling me that I don't get to be at it. So.
And I mean, this is my meditation hat. I don't have a meditation hat, but like you're allowed.
But you can buy one here.
Yeah, you're allowed to feel scared.
Uh-huh.
But that's why we have frontal lobes. Don't let
and
that
therapists.
Fear drive your behavior. Yeah, or get a lobotomy and then you're excused. You're excused from acting nice. What am I saying? I'm not advocating lobotomies for anybody. Unless you want one.
Unless
you consent. Consensual lobotomies for all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if you want a lobotomy, if you want to be racist, do what you want to do, but like, I'm sick of you. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And
Your problems aren't caused by people who are different from you.
Yeah.
That's-
Grow up.
Your problems are just caused by everybody.
Yeah. By yourself.
And by yourself, most of all. Get some therapy.
And get some what?
Get some noodles to you.